Hi guys, so I decided that since I'm home for a couple of weeks, that it'd be just a good time to film a couple of videos since I don't have a whole lot of responsibilities on me right now. Alright, so first I'm going to start with a book haul. I have 12 books that I've loved since I was probably just a wee little one. So, let's begin, shall we? Oh, and by the way, forgive me if there's, like, a couple books that I don't know, like, the complete things about them, just for the facts that it's been so dang long since I've read some of them. Alright, let's begin with this book. It's called Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver. It's basically about this girl named Samantha who every day when she wakes up again, it's like the same day repeating over and over again because she's no longer alive, and for some reason she's in this loop where the same day repeats again, and she can change the events that happen during that day. So then, yeah, it's basically her adventures of figuring out when to time things, like when to change different things throughout the day. And I just found out recently that they're making a movie on this, so I'm really freaking excited because me and my sister just love this book. Okay, the second book is called The Kissing Booth by Beth Reekles. I first read this book on Wattpad a few years ago by the username Reekles, which you should go check her out if you haven't already because she's just got some really good books there. It's about this girl named Elle and her best friend named Lee, and they decide to start this booth at, like, their carnival, and it's a kissing booth. And she's, like, totally head over heels for this guy named Noah, and it's basically just her adventure to try to get him to fall in love with her. But it's a really good book. Third book is called Just Listen by Sarah Dessen. This was actually about the first book of Sarah Dessen's that I ever even liked because I read one a few years before that called Dreamland and I wasn't a big fan, but this one I adore. It's about this girl named Annabelle, and essentially she got stuck like her entire life being a model. Like her parents made her just do modeling her entire life, same with her sisters. And then one day she decides, oh, I don't want to be a model anymore, so she like breaks that mold and tells her parents. And she's, like, so afraid they're not gonna like it and all this. And then she also, like, at her school, because she doesn't fit in, because, like, all her friends just kind of, like, disbanded and they're whatever. She meets this guy named Owen, and he's, like, always got music in his ears. And she finds out that he's a DJ for his, like, own, like, radio segment on their local radio station. And it's pretty much just their love story, but it's another just really cute story. This next one I really liked when I was younger. You might have heard of it, actually. It's called The Boxcar Children by Gertrude Chandler Warner. It's a really, really long series. There's, like, tons of books. Like, now there's, like, ghostwriters and stuff, I believe, that still write these. Well, it's about these four kids, Henry, Jesse, Benny, and Violet. And their parents died, so they're orphans. And the book I'm holding up has two in it, actually, Glass Houses and The Dead Girls Dance. It's about this girl named Claire, essentially, and she moves into this glass house with three friends, Shane, Michael, and Eve. And the town Morganville ends up being basically housed by vampires and, like, owned by vampires. And the whole series, 15 books, is pretty much just their adventures with trying to figure out how to maneuver in that town and anything to do with trying to keep themselves and the regular humans safe, essentially. This one I've been liking for a while. It's kind of weird because it's meant for younger people, but at the same time, I like it now. The series is called Main Street by Ann M. Martin. She's the same author that wrote, if you've heard of them, hang on, what's it called? This is what I need to edit. The Babysitter's Club. She wrote those. Well, the book I'm holding up for you is called Welcome to Camden Falls. I was disappointed because this book series only has 10 books because it didn't fare as well, but it's really good and I wish she would have kept going. It's about these two girls who are orphans. Their names are Flora and Ruby. And their parents die in a car crash and they end up living with their grandma, and they move from where they always lived, like their entire lives, to this new town that their grandma lived in for so long called Camden Falls. And it's basically their adventures of living up in that row house and meeting all these awesome people and just, I don't know, it's like childhood stories, but it's also really cute and I just love it. The one I'm holding up for you is called Welcome to Camden Falls, so it's where it all begins. The next book, there's like a movie and stuff and it's kind of sad. The Last Song by Nicholas Sparks. This book was actually the first one I ever read of Nicholas Sparks's, which actually it was a little bit before the movie came out, I think. Even though I have the version with Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth on it. But it's basically about this girl named Ronnie, and she is a total, I don't even know if you want to call her nutcase or crazy person or what even she is, but she has this personality about her where she doesn't get along with her dad. And because she moves with her dad. She lived with her mom for so long, but then her and her brother moved with their dad, and she doesn't know why. Of course, you find out later. But then it ends up being she meets Will, which is like the last person you'd ever expect her to meet or have any kind of relations with whatsoever. And it's basically just kind of her changing into a better person through him, through her dad, through just everybody in that new town that she ends up living in. This next book is also really, really sad. I read it for book club a few years ago. It's called 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. I think I just heard not that long ago that they're actually making a Netflix TV series about this. It's about this girl named Hannah, and she's dead, essentially, and she left all these, like, notes behind. Well, not notes, but they're cassette recordings, and this guy named Clay, like, he gets a hold of them, and he doesn't know why, because it's like, why would she send these to me? These are the 13 reasons, essentially, that she killed herself. And then the entire story focuses over him listening to these cassette recordings and him following wherever she has him go. And then you just find out why she did, like, all these terrible things to herself, and it's just a really, really sad book, but it's probably easily one of the best ones I've ever read. Alright, this next one is called TTYL by Lauren Miracle. I don't think it's the first book, actually. I think the first one's like TTFN or something. I can't exactly remember what the plot is, but it's like all these friends texting back and forth. Like, if you can see this, the entire book is written in texts. And I don't think it even really matters that much what it's about, other than it's just like a fun little story to read because it's all in text messages, so I like it a lot for that reason. I used to have the first one, but I don't know what happened to it. Alright, the next one is called Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul. And I know there's actually a lot of people that have probably heard of this. But essentially what this is it doesn't have like one definitive plot. It's like tons and tons and tons of little stories mixed together into one book. And it's telling you like all these different messages about life. Like there's this one that, like for example, there's on relationships. So all the stories in that section are on relationships. And there's another on learning. So it's about on learning stuff. And on friendship, and it tells you all these different stories, and this one's about teenagers, but they also have a book that's for kids. They also have like adult, like women, there's sports fans, there's so many of them, but I recommend them because they just teach you some really important messages, and it makes you not want to take life for granted. So okay, this next one is called Let's Get Lost by Adi Elsad. Now, this book I got for free, actually, because I used to be on this program thing that they quit a while back. It was like Harlequin teen panel or something, and you got to read a book and then critique like what your thoughts were on the book and stuff. Well, I did that with this. And essentially what this book is about is this girl named Layla, and she meets like 5 or 6 different people like on her trip throughout the United States. And it's weird because she's placed like in all these different situations and you just don't expect her coming, but she also makes friends with like all these different kind of people that you never thought she'd be friends with because none of them really have much in common. But I think it teaches her like so many life lessons about herself, and she teaches them so much, and it's just really, really interesting to me. And I recommend you check it out, of course. And then the last book, which I recently got, and like when I was in college, Binge by Tyler Oakley. Now, this book, how do I put this? It has a lot of different things in it. It's basically, in a sense, a memoir about Tyler Oakley's life, but he also makes it witty and charming and funny, just the way he talks about different things in his life. And you really just can't go wrong by anything that he says because it's just hilarious. Even though it has some deep, heart-wrenching subjects, it's still a really good book. And I will get more into this because I have a blog. It's Explosive Guitar Strings, and I'll probably post the link in my description, but I'm going to eventually put a review of that and some other things pretty soon on my website and stuff, so I'll make that available for people to check out, hopefully fairly soon. Maybe even when I'm on this break, I'll still do that before I upload this video. Anyway, I hope I, inspired you to check out some of those 12 books. I'll quick read what they are again, just so you remember. Before I Fall, The Kissing Booth, Just Listen, The Boxcar Children, The Morganville Vampires series, The Main Street series, The Last Song, 13 Reasons Why, the TTYL series, Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul, Let's Get Lost, and Binge. Well, I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, make sure to hit subscribe. It should be down there, up there, I don't know. Anyways, thank you guys and have a good day. Bye.